The van door won't close. Marcus is wedged into the modified seat at an angle, his body spilling over the reinforced frame, one arm pressed against the window, the other trapped beneath his own weight. His breathing is labored, mechanical, each inhale a fight against the pressure of his chest, crushing his lungs. Outside, his sister Claire stands with her hand over her mouth, tears streaking her face. Two paramedics exchange glances. One shakes his head almost imperceptibly. A small crowd has gathered on the suburban street. Neighbors, strangers, phone cameras raised. "I can't," Marcus gasps, his voice barely audible. "I can't do this." "We're 40 minutes from the hospital," Claire says, her voice breaking. "We have to go. You have to—" "I can't breathe." One of the paramedics leans in through the opposite door, his tone clinical but not unkind. "Sir, if we pull you out now, we're back to square one. You've come this far." Marcus's face is grey. Sweat pours down his temples. His eyes are wide with something beyond fear. A kind of animal panic, the look of a creature caught in a trap of its own making. This was supposed to be the trip that saved his life. Instead, it's become a spectacle, a failure, a breaking point broadcast to the world. The van door hangs open. The engine idles. Time stretches. And in this moment, suspended between movement and paralysis, one question hangs in the air. How does a man become so imprisoned by his own body that a simple car ride becomes impossible? The answer didn't start here. It started 3 years ago, when Marcus stopped leaving his bedroom. It started 20 years ago, when food became the only thing that felt safe. It started in a childhood he spent his entire adult life trying to forget. But it ends here, on this street, in this van, with these witnesses, one way or another. The paramedic's hand hovers over the door handle. Claire holds her breath. Marcus closes his eyes, and the question remains: what happens next? The bedroom smells like a hospital, mixed with fast food grease and human decay, a smell that's become invisible to Marcus, but hits visitors like a physical wall. He's been awake for 2 hours, but hasn't moved yet. Movement requires planning now. Strategy. A cost-benefit analysis his brain runs automatically every time his body demands something basic. The bathroom is 12 feet away. It might as well be 12 miles. Marcus shifts his weight slightly, and the reinforced bed frame groans in protest. He's 42 years old and weighs 620 pounds. The bed, custom built after the last one collapsed, is the most expensive piece of furniture his sister has ever bought. She reminds him of this at least once a week. 620. That's the number the home health nurse wrote down last month when she brought the industrial scale. Marcus watched the digital numbers climb and climb, waiting for them to stop, and when they finally did, he felt nothing. Numbness is his default setting now. It's safer than feeling. The television mounted on the opposite wall is already on. It's always on. Right now it's showing a cooking competition. Chefs creating elaborate dishes Marcus will never taste. He watches anyway, the way a prisoner might watch birds through a cell window. His phone buzzes on the nightstand. 3 texts from Claire, his younger sister. "Need to talk. Important. Are you awake? I'm coming over at noon." Marcus doesn't respond. He knows what important means. It means another lecture, another intervention, another reminder of everything he already knows and can't seem to change. The morning stretches ahead of him like a vast, empty landscape. He'll need to use the bathroom soon. The urge is building into urgency. The trip will take 15 minutes, maybe 20. He'll have to roll to the edge of the bed, plant his feet, use the grab bars Claire installed to pull himself upright. Then the walk, a series of shuffling steps, one hand on the wall, breathing hard, feet swelling in his XXXL slippers. The bathroom doorframe had to be widened last year. Marcus remembers the contractor's face, the careful neutrality, the way the man measured twice without making eye contact. He remembers a lot of faces like that. The delivery drivers who bring his groceries and won't quite look at him, the home health nurses who smile too brightly, the cable technician who needed 30 minutes to catch his breath after climbing the stairs, except Marcus was the one who needed 30 minutes, and the technician had just stood there awkwardly, pretending to check connections. 3 years since he last left this room, 5 years since he had a job, 7 years since he's seen his reflection in a full-length mirror. There isn't one in the house anymore. Claire removed them all. Marcus's life has contracted into this space. A bedroom, a bathroom, a television, and the phone that connects him to the outside world through food delivery apps and social media accounts he never posts on. He scrolls, he watches, he orders, he eats, he sleeps. This is existence, not life. Existence. The thought crosses his mind several times a day. This is how I'm going to die. In this bed, in this room. And most days, he can live with that. Most days, the thought doesn't even scare him anymore. But today is different. Today, something feels wrong. A tightness in his leg that wasn't there yesterday. A warm, tender spot on his calf that throbs when he shifts his weight. He's been ignoring it for 3 days, hoping it would go away on its own. Everything hurts now, his back, his knees, his feet. Pain is just the baseline, but this is different, sharper, insistent. He finally forces himself upright, the journey to vertical taking 5 full minutes. Standing, the room tilts slightly, his vision swims, then stabilizes. The walk to the bathroom is slow agony. His right leg doesn't want to bear weight. When he finally lowers himself onto the reinforced toilet, another expensive modification, he can see the spot on his calf clearly for the first time. Red, swollen, hot to the touch. The skin stretched tight and shiny. Marcus has spent enough time in emergency rooms to know what cellulitis looks like. He's had it before. Antibiotics cleared it up. But this looks worse than last time. He finishes in the bathroom and makes the return journey, each step a negotiation with his failing body. Back in bed, he picks up his phone and stares at Claire's texts. He should tell her. He should ask her to call the doctor. Instead, he opens a food delivery app. His finger hovers over the icon. Muscle memory, emotional reflex. Order something, eat something, feel better for 20 minutes, then worse, then numb again. The cycle that's ruled his life for 2 decades. But his leg throbs, and for the first time in months, something breaks through the numbness. Fear. Real, cold, clarifying fear. He closes the app, opens his messages, types slowly with thick fingers. I'm awake. Something's wrong. He sends it before he can change his mind. The response comes back in seconds. I'm on my way. Marcus sets the phone down and stares at the ceiling. The TV drones on. Someone's souffle has collapsed. The judges shake their heads. Outside his window, the world moves. Cars pass. People walk. Lives are lived. Inside this room, time has stopped. But something is about to break. Marcus can feel it in his infected leg, in the tightness in his chest, in the way his heart pounds too hard, doing nothing at all. The prison he's built around himself, brick by brick, pound by pound, year by year, is about to crack. He just doesn't know it yet. Claire arrives 20 minutes later, letting herself in with the key she's carried for 3 years. Marcus hears her footsteps on the stairs, quick, purposeful, worried. She appears in the doorway, still in her work scrubs from the night shift at the nursing home. Her hair is pulled back, her face exhausted, and when she sees Marcus, something flickers across her expression. Not quite relief, not quite disappointment, just the weary recognition of a pattern repeating itself. "Show me," she says. No preamble. Marcus pulls up his pant leg. The red has spread since this morning, creeping up toward his knee like spilled wine on a tablecloth. The skin is tight and angry, radiating heat. Claire's professional mask slips for just a second. Jesus, Marcus. I know. How long? 3 days, maybe 4. Maybe 4. She closes her eyes, pressing her fingers against her temples. Why didn't you tell me? Because telling her would make it real. Because he was hoping it would just go away. Because every problem he has becomes her problem. And he's so goddamn tired of being a burden that he can't even articulate it anymore. I'm telling you now, is all he says. Claire pulls out her phone, already dialing. I'm calling Dr. Pearson. The conversation is brief, clinical. Claire describes what she sees, answers questions Marcus can't hear, nods even though the doctor can't see her. When she hangs up, her expression is grim. He wants you in the ER, now. I can take antibiotics here, like last time. It's worse than last time. He can see you spreading into the deeper tissue. If it gets into your bloodstream... She stops herself, but Marcus knows how that sentence ends. Sepsis, organ failure, death. I can't go to the hospital, Marcus says, and hears how pathetic it sounds even as he says it. You don't have a choice. Claire, I can't fit in your car. You know I can't. The words hang between them, a truth they've both been avoiding for months. The last time Marcus tried to get into a vehicle was 2 years ago for a doctor's appointment. It had been humiliating, impossible. They'd given up after 40 minutes and 3 different seating positions, all failures. Claire sits down on the edge of the bed, carefully because even reinforced it has its limits. Her voice softens. Dr. Pearson said if the antibiotics work, if the infection doesn't spread, you might have 6 months, maybe a year. But Marcus, this is going to keep happening. Your body can't sustain this anymore. I know. Do you? Because you say you know, but nothing changes. Nothing ever changes. There's no anger in her voice, just exhaustion. The kind that comes from carrying someone else's weight for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to stand up straight. He gave me a number, Claire continues, pulling a piece of paper from her pocket. A bariatric surgeon, 4 hours away in the city. One of the best in the region. He specializes in extreme cases. Extreme cases. That's what Marcus is now. A category, a specialty. Dr. Pearson says, if you're serious about living, really living, not just existing, this is your shot. But you have to go see him. You have to get evaluated. And you have to do it soon because your window is closing. Marcus stares at the paper. The name printed there might as well be written in a foreign language. Dr. Richard Brennan, Bariatric Surgery Center. What if I can't do it? The question comes out smaller than he intended. Can't do what? The surgery? Any of it. The trip, the diet, everything. Claire is quiet for a long moment. When she speaks, her voice cracks just slightly. Then I need you to tell me that. I need you to say it out loud so I can stop hoping, stop planning, stop spending every dollar I have trying to keep you alive. Because, Marcus, I love you, but I'm drowning too, and I can't save someone who won't reach for the rope. The words land like blows. Marcus has never heard his sister speak like this, raw, unfiltered, desperate. I'll call an ambulance, Claire says, standing up. For today, for the infection. They can transport you safely. But after that you need to decide. Do you want to live or are you just waiting to die? As the ambulance arrives an hour later, 6 paramedics, it takes that many to move him. They're professional, efficient, and Marcus sees the calculations they make when they first enter the room. The measurements, the physics of moving 620 pounds down a staircase. They use a bariatric stretcher, straps reinforced, wheels heavy duty. The journey to the ambulance takes 20 minutes. Neighbors watch from windows and doorways. Marcus keeps his eyes closed, pretending if he can't see them, they can't see him. At the hospital, the ER doctor, a young woman with kind eyes and a no-nonsense manner, confirms what Claire already knew. Cellulitis advanced. IV antibiotics, immediate admission. But it's what she says next that changes everything. Mr. Hayes, your vitals are concerning. Your blood pressure is dangerously high. Your heart is working 3 times harder than it should just to keep you alive. This infection is a symptom of a much larger problem. Your body is failing. I know, Marcus whispers. Do you? She pulls up a chair, sits at eye level. Because I've seen this before many times, and I'm going to be very direct with you. At your current weight, with your current health markers, you have maybe 2 years. Probably less. Every day you wait makes the intervention riskier, the recovery harder, the outcome more uncertain. She slides a card across the table, the same name Claire showed him, Dr. Richard Brennan. He's helped people in your situation, people who thought they were beyond help. But you have to do the work. You have to want it more than you want the food. Marcus takes the card. His hands are shaking. I'll think about it, he says. The doctor stands, and for a moment, her professional mask slips. Don't think too long. That night, alone in the hospital room, IV antibiotics dripping into his arm, Marcus stares at the card, 400 miles away, a stranger who might be his last chance. A journey that starts with fitting into a vehicle he's not sure exists. He picks up his phone and opens the browser. Types, Dr. Richard Brennan, bariatric surgeon. The first thing he sees is a quote on the clinic website. "I don't save lives. Patients save their own lives. I just give them the tools." Marcus reads it 3 times. Then he calls Claire. "I want to try," he says when she answers. On the other end he hears her breath catch. Relief. Fear. Hope. "Okay," she says. "Okay. We'll figure it out." But neither of them knows yet what figuring it out will cost. The appointment is scheduled for Tuesday, 2 weeks after Marcus is discharged from the hospital. 2 weeks that feel like 2 years. The antibiotics worked. The infection receded, leaving behind a dark patch of skin and a reminder of how close he came. But the real countdown has begun, not toward death, which has always felt abstract and distant, but toward something more immediate and terrifying. Leaving the house. Claire has been planning like a general preparing for war. She's made calls to medical transport companies, researched bariatric ambulances, priced out wheelchair-accessible vans. Every option is either too expensive, unavailable on short notice, or requires Marcus to do something he's not sure he's physically capable of. The night before the trip, Claire sits at Marcus's bedside with a notebook full of crossed-out plans. "The medical transport company can't guarantee they'll have a bariatric rig available," she says, exhaustion evident in every word. "They have one in the region, and it's already booked for a patient transfer. The backup option is a modified van, but I have to be able to get into it," Marcus finishes. "Right." They sit in silence. The television plays quietly. Some home renovation show where people transform spaces in 48 hours. If only bodies worked the same way. "There's another option," Claire says carefully. "Tom has a contractor van. The back panel opens completely. No tight door frames, no car seats, just open space." Tom is Claire's ex-husband. They've been divorced for 5 years, mostly because Claire's life became entirely about taking care of Marcus, and Tom got tired of coming second. He's not a bad man, just a man who wanted a wife, not a caretaker with a dependent. "He'd help?" Marcus asks. "I called him. He said yes." Claire looks down at her notebook. "He's bringing the van tomorrow morning. We'll need to get you down the stairs, out to the driveway. You'll sit in the back on a reinforced camping chair he's bolting to the floor. It's not ideal, but it's what we have," Marcus says. That night, Marcus doesn't sleep. He lies awake playing out scenarios. The stairs, 13 steps he hasn't navigated in 3 years. The front door, the driveway where neighbors will watch. 4 hours in a van, his body compressed into a space not designed for it. And then the clinic, where a stranger will judge whether he's worth saving. Every scenario ends in failure, humiliation. Proof that he's gone too far, become too much, crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. At 4 a.m., he considers calling it off. At 5 a.m., he hears Claire arrive downstairs. At 6 a.m., Tom's van pulls into the driveway. Claire appears in the doorway at 6:30, already dressed, car keys in hand. "Ready?" Marcus hasn't moved from the bed. His heart is pounding so hard he can feel it in his throat. "I don't think I can do this." Claire walks over, sits down. Her voice is gentle but firm, the voice she uses with dementia patients who've forgotten where they are. "We're going to take it one step at a time, literally. You don't have to think about the van yet, just think about getting to the stairs." "Claire, one step, Marcus. That's all you have to do, one step." It takes 40 minutes to get him vertical. His legs are stiff from days of minimal movement. His back screams in protest. But eventually he's standing, one hand gripping the bed frame, the other clutching the grab bar Claire installed. The bedroom doorway is 5 feet away. It might as well be a mile. Tom appears, nodding at Marcus without judgment. He's brought a gait belt, the kind used in nursing homes, and positions himself at Marcus's side. Claire takes the other side. "We've got you," Tom says simply. The walk to the stairs takes 15 minutes. Each step is negotiated, planned, executed. Marcus's breathing becomes labored within the first minute. Sweat soaks through his shirt. His legs tremble. At the top of the stairs, Marcus stops, looks down. 13 steps that descend into a narrow hallway with walls on both sides. "I can't." Yes, you can, Claire says. One at a time. We're right here. The first step is the hardest. Marcus grips the railing with both hands, lowers one foot, transfers his weight. The wood creaks. His knee buckles slightly but holds. One step. Then another. By the fifth step he's sobbing, silent, shoulder-shaking sobs that make breathing even harder. Tom and Claire don't comment, don't tell him to stop, don't offer empty encouragement. They just hold steady, matching his pace. 13 steps take 20 minutes. When Marcus finally reaches the ground floor, he has to stop, sit on the bottom step, catch his breath. His vision swims with exhaustion and humiliation and something he can't quite name, maybe pride. Maybe just shock that he's made it this far. The front door is open. Morning light streams in, beyond it the driveway, the van. The world Marcus has hidden from for 3 years. Almost there, Claire whispers. And the driveway is worse than the stairs. It's exposed, public. Mrs. Chen from next door is getting her newspaper. A jogger slows down, staring. A car drives past, and the driver's head swivels. Marcus wants to disappear. Wants to turn around, crawl back upstairs, lock himself in his room forever. But he keeps moving. One step, another, another. The van's back panel is open, revealing an empty cargo space with a reinforced camping chair bolted to the floor. It looks makeshift, desperate, exactly what it is. Getting Marcus into the van takes 3 attempts. The first time, his leg won't lift high enough. The second time, his balance shifts, and Tom has to brace him to prevent a fall. The third time, with Claire pushing from behind and Tom pulling from inside, Marcus half climbs, half collapses into the space. He lands in the chair with a crash that rocks the entire van. The frame holds, barely. Tom secures straps across Marcus's chest and lap. Not seatbelts, but cargo straps repurposed for human transport. They dig into Marcus's skin, but they'll keep him from sliding during turns. Claire climbs into the passenger seat. Tom starts the engine. And then they're moving. Actually moving. The house recedes in the distance. Trees pass by the windows. The world Marcus has only seen on screens for 3 years suddenly surrounds him in 3 dimensions. It feels surreal, overwhelming, like waking from a decades-long dream. But 10 minutes into the drive, reality sets in. The chair is uncomfortable. The straps are too tight. Marcus's back aches from the position. His legs are swelling, and they have 3 hours and 50 minutes to go. "So you okay back there?" Tom calls. Marcus wants to say yes, wants to be brave, stoic, grateful. Instead, he says, "I can't breathe right." Claire turns around, concern flashing across her face. "The straps? Everything. I don't know if I can do this. The whole drive, I don't know if—" "You can," Claire interrupts. "Because turning back isn't an option anymore. We're doing this. You're doing this." Marcus closes his eyes. The van rocks slightly as they merge onto the highway. 4 hours between him and the man who might save his life. 4 hours that will test every limit he has left. The journey has only just begun. 40 minutes into the drive, Marcus realizes he's made a terrible mistake. The camping chair, which seemed sturdy in the driveway, shifts with every turn. The cargo straps cut into his chest, restricting his breathing further. His lower back burns with a pain so intense it radiates down both legs. And worst of all, he needs to use the bathroom. He's been trying to ignore it for the last 15 minutes, hoping the urge will pass. "It won't. Claire," he says quietly, but his voice is swallowed by the road noise and the talk radio Tom has playing up front. "Claire," he tries again, louder. She turns around and the look on his face must tell her everything. "What's wrong? I need to stop." Tom glances in the rearview mirror. We're on the highway. Next rest stop is in 20 minutes. "I don't have 20 minutes. The words hang in the air, humiliating and undeniable. Claire's expression shifts through several emotions: frustration, sympathy, resignation. "Can you hold it?" she asks gently. Marcus closes his eyes. "I don't know." The next 20 minutes are agony. Marcus focuses on nothing but control, willing his body to cooperate just this once. The van seems to hit every pothole, every rough patch of asphalt. Each bump sends shocks through his bladder. When Tom finally pulls off at the rest stop, Claire is already unbuckling, planning, problem-solving. "There's a family bathroom," she says, checking her phone. Wheelchair accessible, bigger space. But getting Marcus out of the van proves harder than getting him in. His legs have stiffened during the drive. His back won't cooperate. The straps have left deep red welts across his chest that throb when Tom loosens them. It takes 10 minutes to extract him from the van. 10 minutes during which Marcus's desperation grows from urgent to critical. By the time his feet hit the pavement, he's shaking. The rest stop bathroom is 50 feet from the parking space, 50 feet that Marcus navigates in a lurching, desperate shuffle, while Claire guides him and Tom hovers protectively behind. Other travelers stop and stare. A child points. A woman whispers to her husband. Marcus doesn't care anymore. Dignity is a luxury he can't afford. They make it to the family bathroom with seconds to spare. Claire helps him inside, then steps out to give him privacy he no longer really has. She's seen everything, helped with everything. During the years he's been unable to care for himself. Inside the bathroom, Marcus collapses onto the reinforced toilet and finally relieves himself. The physical relief is immense, but sitting there in a rest stop bathroom, breathless and sweating, listening to the muffled sounds of normal people living normal lives outside the door, something inside him cracks. He starts crying, not the silent tears from the stairs, but deep, wrenching sobs that echo off the tile walls. This is his life. This is what he's become. A man who can't take a 4-hour drive without a crisis, a spectacle in parking lots, a problem too big for normal solutions. There's a soft knock on the door. "Marcus, you okay?" He's not okay, he'll never be okay, but he washes his hands, splashes water on his face, and opens the door. Claire takes one look at him and knows. She doesn't ask, just takes his arm and helps him back toward the van. Getting him back into the vehicle is worse than the first time. Marcus's body has seized up from the brief walk. His legs refuse to lift properly. On the second attempt, his knee buckles and he nearly falls. Tom catches him, grunting with the effort, and between the two of them they manage to wrestle Marcus back into position. But now the chair feels even more unbearable. The angle is wrong. The straps feel like they're crushing his ribs, and Marcus knows with absolute certainty, that he cannot do 3 more hours of this. "I can't," he says as Tom tightens the straps. "I can't do this. We need to turn back." Claire climbs into the passenger seat without responding. Tom starts the engine. "Did you hear me? I said I can't do this." "I heard you," Claire says, still facing forward. "Then why are we still driving?" She turns around then, and her expression stops Marcus cold. It's not anger, not frustration. It's something harder and sadder. Acceptance, maybe, or surrender. "Because we're halfway there, Marcus, because turning back means giving up, because that appointment took 6 weeks to get, and the doctor is fitting you in as a favor, because—" her voice cracks. "Because if we turn back now, we both know you'll never try again." "You don't know that." "Yes, I do, and so do you." The van merges back onto the highway. Trees blur past. Miles accumulate. Marcus closes his eyes and tries to find some position, any position that doesn't hurt. There isn't one. An hour passes, then another. Marcus drifts in and out of consciousness. Not real sleep, just exhaustion-induced dissociation. His back screams. His legs are numb. He's thirsty but afraid to drink anything because he cannot face another rest stop. Somewhere in the 3rd hour, Tom's phone rings. He answers on Bluetooth. "Yeah?" A pause. "When?" Another pause. "How long?" He hangs up and glances at Claire. "Accident ahead. Highway's backed up. We're looking at a delay." "How long?" Claire asks. "Hour. Maybe more." Marcus's eyes snap open. No, we can't." "We don't have a choice," Tom says. "Traffic's stopped. We're stuck." And they are. Within minutes, the van slows to a crawl, then stops completely. Around them, cars are parked on the highway, engines idling. Some people get out, stretch, make phone calls. Marcus is trapped, literally trapped in a box on wheels, unable to move, unable to escape, unable to do anything but endure. The panic starts small, a tightness in his chest, a flutter in his stomach. Then it builds. His breathing quickens. The straps feel like they're suffocating him. The walls of the van close in. "I can't breathe," he gasps. "Claire, I can't breathe." She's unbuckled and moving to the back in seconds. "Yes, you can. Look at me, look at me. But he can't. His vision is tunneling. His heart pounds so hard he thinks it might explode. I'm dying. I'm having a heart attack. Something's wrong. You're having a panic attack, Claire says firmly. You're okay. Your heart is fine. Breathe with me, in through your nose, out through your mouth, she demonstrates, exaggerating the breaths. Marcus tries to follow but can't find the rhythm. Tom appears at the back door, having gotten out to assess the situation. Should I call 911? No, Claire says. Not yet. Marcus, stay with me. You've come too far to quit now. We're almost there. Just a little further. I can't, Marcus sobs. I can't do this anymore. You can. You are. You're doing it right now. The panic attack lasts 20 minutes. 20 minutes that feel like hours. Gradually, slowly, Marcus's breathing returns to normal. The tunnel vision clears. He slumps in the chair, completely spent. I'm sorry, he whispers. Don't be sorry. Just don't give up. The traffic starts moving again. The van lurches forward. They're 45 minutes from the clinic when Claire's phone rings. She answers, listens, then looks back at Marcus with something like dread. That was Dr. Brennan's office. They know we're running late. They're holding the appointment. Marcus nods, too exhausted to respond. The breaking point has come and gone. Somehow, impossibly, he's still moving forward, but he knows now, with terrible clarity, exactly how hard this journey is going to be. And they haven't even reached the destination yet. The Bariatric Surgery Center occupies the 3rd floor of a modern medical building with walls of glass and steel. Tom pulls the van into a loading zone near a side entrance, the one marked for wheelchair access and special accommodations. Marcus hasn't moved in 40 minutes. His body has molded itself to the chair, every muscle locked in position. When Tom opens the back panel, afternoon sunlight floods in, harsh and exposing. We made it, Claire says, but there's no triumph in her voice, just relief that borders on disbelief. Getting Marcus out takes 15 minutes, and the assistance of 2 clinic staff members who appear with a bariatric wheelchair, industrial, wide, with reinforced everything. They're professional, efficient, and carefully neutral in a way that Marcus has learned to recognize. They've seen cases like his before. The wheelchair ride through the building is mercifully brief. They bypass the main waiting room, too narrow, too public, and go directly to a specialized consultation room. The doorways are wider here. The furniture is different. Everything is designed for bodies like his. Dr. Richard Brennan enters 10 minutes later. He's in his mid-50s, tall and lean, with salt and pepper hair and the kind of direct gaze that misses nothing. He wears navy blue scrubs and carries a tablet. He doesn't smile, doesn't offer false warmth, doesn't perform the dance of reassurance that most doctors do. He pulls up a chair and sits at eye level with Marcus. I'm Dr. Brennan. You're Marcus Hayes. 620 pounds, give or take. Age 42. History of obesity since childhood. Multiple comorbidities including hypertension, prediabetes, sleep apnea, and recurrent cellulitis. 3 years, mostly bedbound. Is that accurate? The directness is startling. Marcus nods. Good. We're going to have a very honest conversation today. I don't sugarcoat things, and I don't make promises I can't keep. What I need from you is complete honesty. Can you do that? I'll try, Marcus says. Trying isn't the same as doing, but we'll get to that. Dr. Brennan opens the tablet, pulls up what appears to be Marcus's medical records. Tell me why you're here. My sister, she thought... I didn't ask what your sister thought. I asked why you're here. Marcus opens his mouth, closes it. The question should be simple, but it's not. I don't want to die, he finally says. Everyone dies, Marcus. What you mean is you don't want to die soon, and you don't want to die from this. Dr. Brennan gestures at Marcus's body, not cruelly, just factually. That's fair. Neither do I want that for you. But here's what you need to understand. I'm not a miracle worker, I'm a surgeon. I can give you a tool, a very powerful tool, but the tool doesn't do the work. You do. Are you ready to do that work? I don't know, Marcus admits. For the first time, something shifts in Dr. Brennan's expression. Not quite approval, but acknowledgement. That's the first honest thing you've said, let's build on that. He stands and moves to a large monitor on the wall, pulling up images. anatomical diagrams, surgical procedures, before and after photos of patients. Gastric bypass surgery. That's what we're talking about. I reduce your stomach to the size of an egg and reroute your intestines. You'll only be able to eat a few ounces at a time. Your body will absorb fewer calories. You'll lose weight rapidly if you follow the protocol. He pulls up a chart showing projected weight loss over 2 years. But here's what most patients don't understand when they come in here looking for a magic solution. This surgery is violence I do to your body in a controlled environment. It's trauma. It comes with risks, blood clots, leaks, infections, even death. And it only works if you completely change your relationship with food. Forever. Not for a month. Not for a year. Forever. Marcus feels his stomach turn. Ironic, given what they're discussing. Can you do that? Dr. Brennan asks. Can you stop using food as comfort, as escape, as your primary coping mechanism for whatever trauma drove you to 620 pounds in the first place? The question lands like a physical blow. No one has ever asked Marcus that directly. No one has ever named the thing he's been running from his entire life. I don't know, he whispers. Dr. Brennan nods. At least you're not lying to me. That's something. He returns to his chair. Here's how this works. Before I'll even consider putting you on the surgical schedule, you need to lose 80 pounds. That's the baseline to reduce the surgical risk and prove to me you can follow instructions. You'll be on a strict medical diet, high protein, low carb, no cheating. You'll meet with a therapist who specializes in eating disorders. You'll come back in 3 months for a follow-up weigh-in. If you've hit the target, we schedule surgery. If you haven't, we have a different conversation. What kind of conversation? Claire asks from her position near the door. Dr. Brennan looks at her, then back at Marcus. The kind where I tell him I can't help him, and he needs to get his affairs in order. The words hang in the sterile air. No softening, no cushion, just reality, stark and unforgiving. I've been doing this for 20 years, Dr. Brennan continues. I've saved lives. I've also watched patients fail, and it's the hardest part of this job. The surgery is the easy part. The rest, the mental work, the behavioral changes, the willingness to face whatever you've been eating to avoid facing, that's the hard part. And Marcus, I need to know. Are you ready to face it? Marcus thinks about the panic attack in the van, the stairs in his house, the 3 years in bed, the childhood he doesn't talk about, the father who called him worthless, the mother who died when he was 12, the food that became his only friend, his only comfort, his only reliable source of anything resembling love. I don't know if I can, he says, and his voice breaks. Can't or won't? Dr. Brennan asks. What's the difference? Everything. Can't means it's impossible. Won't means you're choosing not to. Which is it? Marcus looks down at his body. This prison he's built, this fortress of flesh that protects him from the world and slowly kills him at the same time. He thinks about the trip here, the humiliation, the pain. He thinks about dying in that bedroom alone, having never really lived. I want to try, he says finally. Dr. Brennan studies him for a long moment. Then he extends his hand. Then we have a deal. 80 pounds, 3 months, no excuses. Marcus shakes his hand. The doctor's grip is firm, professional, and utterly uncompromising. One more thing, Dr. Brennan says as he stands to leave. You're going to fail. Probably multiple times in the next 3 months. You're going to want to quit. You're going to lie to yourself about why you deserve to eat that thing you're not supposed to eat. And when that happens, you need to decide. Do you get back up, or do you stay down? He pauses at the door. Because this journey, it's not about being perfect. It's about getting back up one more time than you fall down, that's all. Can you do that? Marcus doesn't answer immediately. He looks at Claire, who's crying quietly near the wall. He thinks about the van ride, the stairs, the 3 years of slow suicide. I can try, he says. Dr. Brennan nods. Good enough for today. My staff will give you the diet protocol and the therapist's information. I'll see you in 3 months. Don't disappoint me, Marcus. But more importantly, don't disappoint yourself. He leaves. The door closes, and Marcus sits in the oversized wheelchair in the too bright room, holding a folder full of instructions that might save his life or prove he's beyond saving. The mirror of truth has been held up. Now he has to decide if he can bear to keep looking. The diet protocol is a single sheet of paper that might as well be written in ancient Greek for all the sense it makes to Marcus's brain. Protein, 120 or 150 grams daily. Carbohydrates, under 50 grams daily. No sugar, no processed foods, no fast food, no liquid calories. Meal replacement shakes, 3x daily. One solid meal, lean protein and vegetables only. Claire tapes it to the refrigerator when they get home. Marcus stares at it like it's a death sentence. In a way it is. It's the death of everything he's used to survive. The first 3 days are hell, not the kind of hell that's dramatic or cinematic. Just a grinding, relentless misery that permeates every waking moment. Marcus's body, accustomed to thousands of calories of comfort, goes into withdrawal. The headaches start on day 2, piercing, relentless pain behind his eyes. By day 3, he's shaking, sweating. His stomach cramps violently even though he's drinking the protein shakes exactly as prescribed. "It's normal," Claire tells him, reading from the information packet the clinic provided. "Your body is detoxing, it'll pass." But it doesn't pass. It gets worse. On day 4, Marcus wakes up at 2 a.m. with his heart racing and his mind screaming for food. Not the protein shake in the refrigerator. Real food, pizza, burgers, the fried chicken he used to order 3 times a week. His body isn't just hungry. It's panicking, convinced it's starving, sending distress signals that override every logical thought. He lies in bed for 2 hours, fighting the urge to call a delivery service. His phone is right there. The apps are still installed. He could have food at his door in 30 minutes. Instead, he gets up, shuffles to the kitchen, and chokes down another protein shake. It tastes like chalk mixed with artificial sweetness. His stomach rebels, threatening to send it back up. He keeps it down through sheer force of will. By week 2, the physical symptoms have eased slightly, but something worse has emerged: the emotional void. Food has been Marcus's therapist, his friend, his comfort for so long that removing it feels like losing a limb. Every emotion, stress, boredom, sadness, anxiety, used to be answered with eating. Now there's just nothing. Raw feelings with nowhere to go. The therapist Dr. Brennan assigned him, Dr. Linda Chen, a woman in her 40s with a gentle manner and sharp insight, tries to help him understand this during their first video call. "Food became your primary coping mechanism probably in childhood," she says. "When did you start eating for comfort instead of hunger?" Marcus doesn't want to answer, doesn't want to go back there. "Marcus?" "I was 8, he says finally. "My dad left. My mom was working 2 jobs. I'd come home to an empty house and food was there. Food didn't leave. Food didn't yell. Food didn't disappoint. And now you're taking that away from yourself. How does that feel?" "Like I'm dying," Marcus admits. "Not physically, worse. Like I'm killing the only thing that ever made me feel safe." Dr. Chen nods, writing something down. "That's the work, Marcus. Finding new ways to feel safe. Building new coping mechanisms. It's going to hurt, but it's necessary." By week 4, Marcus has lost 18 pounds. He knows because Claire brings a home scale, a bariatric model that goes up to 800 pounds. They place it in the bathroom, and every Monday morning becomes a ritual of stepping on, waiting for the numbers to appear, holding his breath. 18 pounds. It should feel like victory. Instead, it feels like nothing. 62 pounds to go. The mountain is still impossibly high. The diet gets slightly easier physically. His body adapts to the lower calories. The constant hunger becomes background noise instead of a scream. But mentally, Marcus is unraveling. He starts having dreams about food. Vivid, detailed dreams where he's eating everything he's been denied. He wakes up feeling guilty, as if the dreams themselves are cheating. Claire does her best. She clears the house of anything not on the diet plan. She drinks her protein shakes alongside him in solidarity, even though she doesn't need to. She sits with him during the hardest moments, usually around 8 p.m. When his body remembers this used to be dinner time, real dinner, not 4 ounces of grilled chicken and steamed broccoli. But Claire has her limits too. "I need you to take the trash out," she says one evening, and the request lands like a bomb. Marcus hasn't taken the trash out in 3 years. It means going down the stairs, walking to the curb, being seen by neighbors. I can't, he says automatically. You can. You did it for the appointment. You can do it for this. That was different. That was... What? More important? Marcus, this is your life. All of it. Not just the big moments, the small ones too. Taking out trash, getting the mail, existing in the world like a normal person. The words sting because they're true. He's been treating the diet like a temporary punishment, a task to complete so he can have surgery, and then everything will magically be better. But Dr. Brennan's words echo in his mind. This is forever. That night, Marcus takes the trash out. It takes 20 minutes and leaves him breathless and sweating. Mrs. Chen waves from her porch. Marcus forces himself to wave back. It's a small thing, meaningless really, in the scope of what he needs to do. But it's something. Week 6 brings the first real test. Claire has to work a double shift. She leaves Marcus with his protein shakes measured out, his chicken and vegetables prepped, explicit instructions written on sticky notes. You've got this, she says before she leaves. 6 more weeks. Just keep going. But alone, truly alone for the first time since starting the diet, Marcus's resolve crumbles. It starts innocently. He's bored, anxious. The house feels too quiet. He picks up his phone to scroll social media and sees an ad for his favorite pizza place. A new special. Extra cheese, stuffed crust. His mouth waters involuntarily. His brain lights up with anticipation before he can stop it. Just one slice. I've been so good. I've lost 26 pounds. I deserve something. The justifications come fast and easy, practiced from years of giving himself permission to fail. He opens the delivery app, adds the pizza to his cart. His finger hovers over the order button. In this moment, everything Dr. Brennan said seems abstract and distant. The surgery is 3 months away. Forever, really. What's one pizza? What's one night off? Marcus stares at the screen for 5 full minutes. Then he thinks about the van, the panic attack, the humiliation, the way Dr. Brennan looked at him and asked if he was ready to face what he'd been eating to avoid facing. He thinks about Claire, working a double shift, sacrificing her life for his. He thinks about the man he used to be before food became his prison warden. Marcus closes the app, deletes it from his phone. Then he deletes all the other delivery apps too, every single one. He sits in the kitchen, shaking, and drinks a protein shake. It still tastes terrible. He still hates every second of it. But he doesn't order the pizza. That night, he texts Dr. Chen. I almost broke today, but I didn't. Does that count? Her response comes back 10 minutes later. That's the only thing that counts, not being perfect. Getting back up. You did that. Be proud. Marcus reads the message 3 times. He doesn't feel proud. He feels exhausted, depleted, like he's fighting a war with himself and both sides are losing. But he's still fighting, and maybe, just maybe, that's enough. When Claire comes home at midnight, she finds Marcus asleep in bed, an empty protein shake bottle on the nightstand, the diet protocol sheet still taped to the refrigerator, 26 pounds lighter than he was 6 weeks ago, still breathing, still trying, still alive. The mountain ahead is still high, but he's climbing, one painful, grinding day at a time. Week 8. Marcus has lost 34 pounds. He should be celebrating. Instead, he's sitting in front of his laptop at 3 p.m. on a Thursday, staring at Dr. Chen's face on the screen, feeling like his chest is caving in. Tell me about your father, she says for the 3rd session in a row. Marcus has been deflecting this question for weeks. Talking about food is easy. What he eats, what he craves, the mechanics of addiction. But this is different. What does my father have to do with anything? You tell me, Dr. Chen says calmly. You mentioned him once in our first session. You said food didn't leave, food didn't yell, food didn't disappoint. But someone did. Someone taught you that you needed protection. I'm guessing it was him. Marcus looks away from the screen toward the window. Outside, life continues. A dog walker passes. A mail truck stops at the neighbor's house. Normal things. Safe things. He left when I was 8, Marcus says finally. Just didn't come home one day. Mom found a note on the kitchen table. Said he couldn't do it anymore. The responsibility, the bills, Us. He sent money for a while, then that stopped too. And your mother worked herself to death trying to make up for him being gone. Literally. Heart attack when I was 12. Died at her desk at the call center. Dr. Chen is quiet for a moment. When she speaks, her voice is gentle. So you were alone at 12. Where did you go? Foster care, 3 different homes in 4 years. Then I aged out, got a job, got an apartment. He pauses. Got fat. When did the eating start? Marcus closes his eyes. The memories are there, waiting, like they've always been waiting. After he left, Mum would work late and I'd be home alone. She'd leave money for dinner, just a few dollars, enough for something cheap. But I figured out that if I ordered pizza or Chinese food, they'd bring me enough for 2 or 3 meals. And while I was eating, I wasn't... He stops, swallows hard. Wasn't what? Dr. Chen prompts. Wasn't thinking about him, wasn't wondering why I wasn't good enough for him to stay, wasn't feeling like if I'd just been different, better, quieter, less expensive, maybe he wouldn't have left. The words come out in a rush, and Marcus realizes he's never said this out loud, not to anyone, not even to himself in the privacy of his own mind. Food made everything quiet, he continues, the anxiety, the loneliness, the feeling that I was fundamentally unlovable. When I was eating, none of that mattered. I just was present, focused on something I could control. And now you've taken that away from yourself, Dr. Chen observes. The thing that made you feel safe, the thing that made the feelings stop. How are you managing those feelings now? I'm not, Marcus admits. They're just there all the time. This constant noise in my head telling me I'm worthless, that I'm going to fail, that everyone would be better off if I just... He stops himself, but Dr. Chen doesn't let him retreat. If you just what, Marcus? If I just disappeared. If Claire didn't have to take care of me anymore. If I wasn't this massive burden that everyone has to work around. The silence that follows is heavy. Marcus can hear his own breathing, too fast, too shallow. Your father left, Dr. Chen says carefully, and you decided that was about you, that you were the problem, that you were too much, too expensive, too difficult, too defective. And you've been proving that belief true ever since. You've literally made yourself too much, too big, too difficult to care for, too burdensome. Do you see that? Marcus does see it. For the first time, he sees the pattern clearly. The self-fulfilling prophecy he's been enacting for 3 decades. I made myself the thing I was afraid of being, he whispers. Yes, and now you're trying to unmake it. But Marcus, losing weight won't fix this. Surgery won't fix this. Those things are tools, but the real work is forgiving yourself for believing you were ever the problem in the first place. At that night, Marcus can't sleep. Dr. Chen's words circle his mind like vultures. He gets up, goes to the bathroom, and for the first time in years, really looks at himself in the mirror. Not just glancing, looking. The man staring back is unrecognizable. Somewhere under the flesh and the pain and the years of protective layers is the 8-year-old boy who came home to an empty house and learned that people leave, but food stays. You weren't the problem, Marcus whispers to his reflection. You were never the problem. The words feel foreign, unbelievable, but he says them again. You were never the problem. His phone buzzes. A text from Claire. Can't sleep either. You okay? Marcus types back. Had therapy today. Hard session. 3 dots appear immediately. Then, want to talk? He does. He doesn't. He spent so long not burdening her with his internal mess that the idea of actually being honest feels terrifying. But he types, Can you come over tomorrow? I need to tell you some things. Her response is immediate. Of course. I love you. Marcus stares at those 3 words. When was the last time someone said that to him? When was the last time he believed it? The next evening, Claire sits on the edge of his bed, the same spot she's occupied for countless conversations over the years. But this time Marcus doesn't hide. He tells her about his father, about the 8-year-old boy who thought he wasn't worth staying for, about the 12-year-old who watched his mother work herself to death trying to compensate, about the teenager in foster care who learned that taking up less space meant causing less trouble. Except he couldn't make himself smaller, only bigger. "I've been eating myself to death," Marcus says, "because some part of me believed that's what I deserved, that I was the reason everything fell apart, that if I just disappeared, everyone would be relieved." Claire is crying. "You're my brother. You're not a burden. You're not too much. You've never been too much. Haven't I, Claire? You've given up everything for me. Your marriage, your life, I chose that," Claire interrupts fiercely, "because I love you, because you're worth it. But Marcus, I can't save you. I've been trying for years, and I've finally figured out that I can't want your recovery more than you want it. You have to want it for you, not for me, not for Dr. Brennan. For you." "I'm trying," Marcus says, and his voice breaks. "I know you are, and I'm so proud of you, but you need to forgive yourself. For being 8 and thinking your father left because of you. For being 12 and losing your mom. For spending 30 years trying to protect yourself in the only way you knew how. You need to forgive yourself, Marcus, because you can't heal from something you can't forgive." They sit in silence. The television plays softly in the background. Some show neither of them is watching. "I don't know how to forgive myself," Marcus finally says. "Then that's what we work on. One day at a time. Just like the diet, just like everything else." Later, after Claire leaves, Marcus pulls out his phone and opens his notes app. He types slowly, his fingers clumsy on the screen. Things that are true. 1. My father left because of his own problems, not because of me. 2. My mother loved me and did her best. 3. I am not unlovable. 4. I deserve to take up space. 5. I deserve to heal. He reads the list 3 times. None of it feels true yet, but Dr. Chen said healing starts with telling yourself the truth, even when you don't believe it yet. So Marcus saves the list, sets a reminder to read it every morning. 34 pounds down, 46 to go. But more importantly, one truth acknowledged. A lifetime of lies left to dismantle. The weight of the past is heavy, but maybe, just maybe, he's finally ready to set it down. Week 11, 3 weeks until the follow-up appointment with Dr. Brennan. Marcus stands on the scale in his bathroom, Claire waiting outside the door like she does every Monday morning. The numbers climb and keep climbing past where they should stop. When they finally settle, Marcus's stomach drops. 598 pounds. He's gained 12 pounds. For a moment, he just stares at the display, certain it's wrong. Certain the scale is broken, but he steps off and back on, same number. He tries again, still the same. 12 pounds in 1 week. "Marcus," Claire calls from the hallway. "What's the number?" He can't speak, can't make his voice work. The scale's display seems to pulse, accusatory, undeniable. Claire opens the door when he doesn't answer. She sees his face and knows immediately that something is wrong. Her eyes go to the scale, and Marcus watches as hope drains from her expression like water from a broken vessel. "How?" she whispers. Marcus shakes his head. He doesn't know. Except he does know. He knows exactly how. It started small 2 weeks ago. A handful of crackers that weren't on the diet plan. Marcus told himself they didn't count. Just a few crackers, barely 100 calories. Nothing compared to the thousands of calories he used to consume. But those crackers opened a door he'd been keeping locked. The next day it was a granola bar. The day after, some peanut butter straight from the jar. Just a spoonful, he told himself. Then 2 spoonfuls. Then he stopped counting. Within a week, he was ordering food again. Not every day, just occasionally. When Claire worked late. When the loneliness became too heavy. When the therapy sessions dug up memories he couldn't face sober and unsedated by food. He'd been so careful, hiding the evidence, taking the trash out himself so Claire wouldn't see, timing his meals around her schedule, lying to her, to Dr. Chen, to himself about following the protocol. "I don't understand," Claire says, still staring at the scale. "You've been drinking the shakes, eating the meals I prep. How did this happen?" Marcus can't look at her, can't bear to see the disappointment he knows is there. "Marcus, how did this happen?" "I've been eating other things," he finally admits, his voice barely audible. The silence that follows is worse than any shouting could be. "What things?" Claire asks, her voice dangerously quiet. "Just snacks, small stuff, not much. I didn't think—" You didn't think what? That calories count? That I'd find out? That this would matter? Her voice is rising now, all the exhaustion and frustration of 3 years, of a lifetime, finally breaking through. You've been lying to me. I'm sorry. Sorry? Marcus, we have 3 weeks. 3 weeks until you're supposed to have lost 80 pounds. You've lost 34. You needed to lose 46 more. Now you need to lose 58. In 3 weeks, that's impossible. She stops, pressing her hands to her face. You've been sabotaging yourself. I wasn't trying to... Yes, you were, Claire explodes. That's exactly what you were doing. Because this... She gestures at him, at the scale, at everything. This is familiar. This is safe. Failing is what you know how to do. Succeeding is terrifying, so you made sure you'd fail. The words hit like physical blows. Marcus wants to argue, to defend himself, but he can't, because she's right. Dr. Chen's voice echoes in his mind. You've literally made yourself too much. You've been proving that belief true ever since. He's been sabotaging himself, creating the failure he's been expecting all along. I've given up everything for you, Claire continues, and now she's crying. My marriage, my savings, my life. I've sacrificed everything because I actually believed, that this time would be different, that you were finally ready. But you're not. You're still that scared kid who thinks he doesn't deserve to be saved. Claire, no, I'm done. I'm done enabling this. I'm done watching you kill yourself in slow motion while I pretend I can save you. You want to die in that bed? Fine. But I won't be there to watch it happen anymore. She turns and walks out. Marcus hears her footsteps on the stairs. The front door opens. Closes. The house falls silent. Marcus stands alone in the bathroom, staring at his reflection in the mirror. The man looking back is the same one who started this journey 11 weeks ago, just slightly smaller. Still trapped. Still choosing food over freedom. Still afraid of what happens if he actually succeeds. The rest of the day passes in a haze. Marcus calls Claire 17 times. She doesn't answer. He texts apologies, explanations, promises. She doesn't respond. By evening, panic sets in. Not the panic of the van ride. This is different. Deeper. The panic of realizing he's finally pushed too far. That the one person who stood by him through everything has reached her limit. He could order food right now. Could eat until the panic stops. Until everything goes numb again. Instead, he calls Dr. Chen. It's 7 p.m., well past office hours, but she answers on the third ring. Marcus, what's wrong? He tells her everything. The secret eating, the weight gain, Claire leaving, the failure he's orchestrated. I destroyed it, he says, his voice breaking. I destroyed the one chance I had. Why did I do that? Dr. Chen is quiet for a moment, because succeeding meant facing life without your armor. It meant believing you deserve to be healthy, and you don't believe that yet. So you proved yourself right. You created the failure you expected. How do I fix this? Can you fix it? Dr. Chen asks. That's the real question. Can you call Dr. Brennan tomorrow and tell him the truth? Can you face his disappointment? Can you ask Claire to forgive you while accepting she might not? Can you do the actual work of changing, not just talking about it? Marcus closes his eyes. The easy answer is no. The safe answer is no. He could give up right now, order food, slide back into the familiar pattern, die slowly in his bed, just like he's been planning to do for years. But something Dr. Brennan said echoes through his mind. This journey isn't about being perfect. It's about getting back up one more time than you fall down. He's fallen, spectacularly, publicly, destroyed the trust of everyone who believed in him. The question is, can he get back up? I need to tell him, Marcus says. Dr. Brennan, I need to tell him the truth. Yes, you do. And Marcus? It's going to be hard. He's not going to be gentle about this. But if you're serious, actually serious about changing, this is where it starts. With complete honesty, with facing consequences, with proving that you can fail and still choose to keep trying. The next morning, Marcus makes the call. The receptionist patches him through to Dr. Brennan, who answers on speakerphone, probably between patients. Marcus, you're calling early. What's going on? Marcus takes a breath. I need to tell you something. I've been cheating on the diet. For 2 weeks, I gained 12 pounds. I'm at 598. I know that means I can't have the surgery. I know I failed. I'm calling because I need to tell you the truth. The silence on the other end lasts so long, Marcus thinks the call has dropped. Then, come in Friday, 2 p.m. We need to talk in person. Dr. Brennan, Friday, 2 p.m. Don't miss it. The line goes dead. Marcus sits with the phone in his hand, his heart pounding. He doesn't know what Friday will bring. Doesn't know if Dr. Brennan will give him another chance or tell him he's beyond help. He doesn't know if Claire will ever forgive him. What he does know is this. He told the truth. For the first time in weeks, maybe years, he told the complete, ugly truth. It's not redemption, but maybe it's the first step toward it. Friday arrives like a sentencing hearing. Marcus makes the 4-hour journey again, this time in a medical transport Claire arranged without speaking to him directly. She paid for it, left the confirmation number on his nightstand, but she hasn't returned his calls. The driver is professional, silent. The specialized vehicle is more comfortable than Tom's van, but Marcus barely notices. His mind is elsewhere, rehearsing what he'll say to Dr. Brennan, knowing that no rehearsal will prepare him for what's coming. The clinic feels different this time. The same wide doorways, the same reinforced furniture, but now it all feels like a stage set for his public failure. Dr. Brennan's assistant leads Marcus to the same consultation room. He waits 20 minutes, each minute stretching like an hour. When the door finally opens, Dr. Brennan enters with the same direct gaze, the same unreadable expression. He sits down, doesn't speak immediately, just looks at Marcus with an intensity that makes him want to disappear. "You gained 12 pounds, Dr. Brennan finally says. Not a question, a statement of fact. "Yes. You've been lying. To me, to your sister, to yourself. For at least 2 weeks, probably longer." "Yes. You sabotaged your own progress right when you were starting to make real headway." "Why?" Marcus has thought about this question constantly since Monday, has discussed it with Dr. Chen, has examined it from every angle. "Because I was scared," he says. "Because succeeding meant I'd have to face life without food as protection. Because failing is what I know how to do, and some part of me wanted to prove I was right about being worthless." Dr. Brennan leans back in his chair. "At least you're being honest now, that's something." He pulls up Marcus's chart on his tablet. "You know what I see here? I see a man who came in at 620. A man who, despite everything, managed to get down to 586 before he started sabotaging himself. That's 34 pounds in 8 weeks. That's actually good progress." Marcus blinks. He wasn't expecting praise. "But then you threw it away," Dr. Brennan continues. "You proved to yourself that you can lose weight when you follow the protocol, and then you deliberately chose not to follow it. That tells me something important." "Want to know what it tells me?" "What?" "That you're capable of change. You proved that, but you're not ready for it yet. You're still at war with yourself, and until you stop fighting that war, no surgery I perform will save you. You'll just find another way to destroy yourself." The words land with devastating accuracy. Marcus feels them sink in, settle somewhere deep. "I'm cancelling the surgery," Dr. Brennan says. Marcus's stomach drops, even though he knew this was coming. Hearing it said out loud makes it real. "However," Dr. Brennan continues, and Marcus's head snaps up. "I'm not giving up on you, not yet, but we're not doing this the way we planned." He stands, walks to the window, looks out at the parking lot below. When he turns back, his expression is harder than Marcus has ever seen it. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to check yourself into an inpatient facility, a residential treatment center that specializes in eating disorders and extreme obesity. You'll be there for a minimum of 3 months, maybe 6, maybe longer. You'll have 24-hour supervision, medical monitoring, intensive therapy, no phone, no contact with the outside world except supervised calls once a week, no food except what they give you, no opportunity to cheat, no escape." Marcus's heart starts racing. "I can't." "Yes, you can. And you will, if you want any chance at surgery. This is non-negotiable, Marcus. You're not ready to do this on your own, you've proven that, so we're removing your ability to fail." "What if I say no?" Dr. Brennan meets his eyes with an unflinching gaze. "Then this is the last conversation we'll ever have. I'll send your records back to your primary care physician with a note saying you're not a surgical candidate. You'll go home and you'll continue on the path you're on. And based on your current health markers, you'll probably be dead within 2 years. Heart attack, stroke, or organ failure. Those are your options. The room feels like it's closing in. Marcus can barely breathe. I know this sounds harsh, Dr. Brennan says, his voice softening slightly. But Marcus, I've been doing this for 20 years. I've seen hundreds of patients. Some succeed. Some fail. And the ones who fail, the ones who die, they're the ones who couldn't stop fighting themselves long enough to accept help. You're at that crossroads right now. You can accept that you need more support than you thought, or you can choose pride and die with it. My sister, Marcus says. Claire, she's done with me. She said she can't watch me kill myself anymore. Then prove her wrong. Show her you're serious. Show her that this time, you're actually choosing life. Doctor. Brennan pulls out a folder, slides it across the desk. This is the facility, Mountain View Recovery Center. It's in Vermont, about 6 hours from here. They have a bed available starting Monday. I've already spoken with their director. She's expecting my call. Marcus opens the folder with shaking hands. Photos of a building nestled in mountains. Information about the program. Testimonials from former patients. What if I fail there too? Marcus whispers. Then at least you'll fail while actually trying. That's better than failing while running away. Dr. Brennan sits back down. Marcus, I'm going to tell you something I don't tell many patients. 5 years ago, I had a man sitting in that exact chair, 670 pounds. Diabetes, heart disease, barely mobile. I told him the same thing I'm telling you. He checked into a facility, spent 4 months there. Came out, lost 200 pounds over the next year, had surgery, and today he's 300 pounds lighter than when I first met him. He's alive. He's healthy. He's living. He pauses, letting that sink in. But I also had a man 2 years ago. Similar situation. I gave him the same option. He refused, said he could do it on his own. He died 8 months later, heart attack in his sleep. He was 36 years old. The silence that follows is heavy with the weight of those 2 outcomes. 2 paths. 2 futures. Which one are you going to be? Dr. Brennan asks. Marcus looks down at the folder. Mountain View Recovery Center. 3 months minimum. No escape. No ability to sabotage himself. Complete surrender of control. Everything in him wants to say no, wants to run, wants to prove he can do this on his own, but he can't. He's proven that conclusively. If I do this, Marcus says slowly, if I go to this place and do the program, will you do the surgery? If you complete the program, if you lose the weight they set as your goal, if you prove to me that you've done the psychological work, if you show me that you're ready, then yes, I'll do the surgery. And if I can't complete it? Dr. Brennan's expression doesn't change. Then we'll deal with that when it happens. But Marcus, I need an answer today. That bed is available Monday. If you don't take it, it goes to someone else. This is your last chance. What's it going to be? Marcus thinks about Claire, about the stairs he climbed, about the van ride and the panic attack, and the moment in the rest stop bathroom when he realized he'd become a spectacle. He thinks about his father leaving and his mother dying, and the 8-year-old boy who decided food was safer than people. He thinks about Dr. Chen asking him if he's ready to forgive himself. He thinks about dying in his bedroom, alone, having never really tried. I'll go, Marcus says. His voice is shaking but clear. I'll do it. I'll go Monday. Dr. Brennan nods, something that might be respect flickering across his face. Good. My office will coordinate the transport. You'll be picked up at 6 a.m. Monday morning. Pack light. They provide everything you need there. And Marcus? Yeah? This is going to be the hardest thing you've ever done. Harder than the diet. Harder than the van ride, harder than anything. You're going to want to quit multiple times. But if you can get through it, if you can face everything you've been running from, you might finally have a chance. Marcus nods, clutching the folder like a lifeline. One more thing, Dr. Brennan says as Marcus stands to leave. Call your sister. Tell her what you've decided. She deserves to know. That night, in the hotel room the clinic arranged, Marcus finally calls Claire. She answers on the 5th ring. It's me, he says. I need to tell you something. He tells her about the conversation with Dr. Brennan, about Mountain View, about Monday. When he finishes, there's a long silence. Then Claire's voice, small and tired. Are you actually going to do it? Or are you going to back out Sunday night? I'm going to do it, Marcus says. I'm going to do it because you deserve better than watching me die. Because I deserve better than dying. Because I need to find out who I am without food deciding for me. Another silence. Then, okay, I'll drive you Monday morning. I'll be there at 5. You don't have to. Yes, I do. You're my brother, and I'm not giving up on you yet. But Marcus, this is it. This is the last chance. Not just from Dr. Brennan, from me too. If you quit this, if you sabotage this, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I know, Marcus says. I understand. Good. I'll see you Monday. She hangs up. Marcus sits in the dark hotel room, the folder open on his lap, staring at photos of a place where he'll spend the next 3 months, or 6, or however long it takes, locked in battle with himself. No more running, no more hiding, no more lies. Just him, his demons, and the choice to finally face them. Monday morning is 3 days away. 3 days until everything changes. Or 3 days until he proves everyone right and gives up. The choice for once is entirely his. The parking lot at Mountain View Recovery Center looks exactly the same as it did the day Marcus left 6 months ago. Same mountains in the distance, same pristine white building, same sense of both dread and possibility hanging in the air. But Marcus is different. He steps out of Claire's car, easily now, without calculation or strategy, just the simple act of opening a door and standing up. He's wearing clothes from a regular store. Size 2XL. Not custom-made, not stretched to their limits. Just normal clothes that fit a body that, while still large, is no longer a prison. 342 pounds. That's what the scale said this morning. 278 pounds lighter than the man who couldn't fit in a car seat a year ago. You ready for this? Claire asks, coming around the car to stand beside him. Marcus nods. Today he's speaking at the center, sharing his story with the current residents. Dr. Patel, the director who oversaw his 4 months of residential treatment, invited him back. Said the residents needed to hear from someone who made it through, someone who survived. They walk through the familiar doors, past the common room where Marcus spent countless hours in group therapy, past the dining hall where every meal was measured and monitored, past the therapy offices where he finally, painfully, started to dismantle the armor he'd built over 30 years. The first 2 months at Mountain View were hell. Marcus tried to leave 3 times, got caught sneaking food twice, spent weeks in what the counselors called the resistance phase, fighting every rule, every boundary, every attempt to help him. But the facility was designed for people like him, people who'd spent their lives finding ways to fail. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, no delivery apps, no secret stashes, just him and the work he'd been avoiding his entire life. The breakthrough came during week 9, in a therapy session with Dr. Patel. She'd asked him to write a letter to his 8-year-old self, the boy who watched his father leave and decided he wasn't worth staying for. Marcus had refused at first, said it was pointless, stupid, a waste of time. But Dr. Patel was patient, persistent, and eventually Marcus picked up the pen. Dear Marcus, you're 8 years old and your dad just left. You think it's your fault. You think if you'd been better, quieter, less expensive, he would have stayed. But here's what you don't know yet. He left because he was broken, not because you were. You're going to spend the next 30 years punishing yourself for his failure. You're going to build walls so thick that no one can hurt you again, but those walls will also keep out everything good. Love, connection, life itself. I'm writing this to tell you. It's not too late to stop. It's not too late to forgive yourself. It's not too late to believe you deserve to be here. You were never the problem. You were never too much. You were just a kid who needed his dad to stay, and his dad failed. That's on him, not you. I love you. I'm sorry it took me this long to say it. By the time Marcus finished writing, he was sobbing. 34 years of grief pouring out in Dr. Patel's office. And for the first time since he was 8 years old, he believed the words he'd written. He wasn't the problem. He'd never been the problem. Estamos now. standing in the same conference room where he once sat as a resident. Marcus faces 30 people in various stages of their own journeys. Some are weeks into treatment, some are months in. All of them are fighting the same war he fought. "My name is Marcus Hayes," he begins, his voice steady. "A year ago, I weighed 620 pounds. I couldn't fit in a car, couldn't walk downstairs without crying, couldn't imagine a future where I was still alive. Today I weigh 342. I've had gastric bypass surgery, and I'm here to tell you that if I can do this, you can too." He tells them about the van ride, the panic attack, the appointment with Dr. Brennan, where he was forced to face reality. He tells them about sabotaging himself at week 11, gaining back 12 pounds, because success was more terrifying than failure. "I thought if I succeeded, if I actually got healthy, I'd have to face life without my armor," Marcus says. "Food was the only thing that made me feel safe. Giving it up felt like dying." And in a way, it was. The old Marcus, the one who ate to avoid feeling, he did have to die. But what I learned here is that there was someone underneath all that weight, someone who deserved to live. He pauses, looking around the room. Some residents are crying, some are nodding. Some have the same look he remembers having in those early weeks, skeptical, resistant, convinced they're different, convinced they can't be saved. "I'm not going to lie to you," Marcus continues. "This is hard. Surgery didn't fix me. Losing weight didn't fix me. I still have days where I want to eat until everything goes numb, days where I have to remind myself that I'm worth the effort, days where I want to give up. But here's what's different. I have tools now. I have therapy. I have support. And I have proof that I can survive hard things." After the talk, residents approach him with questions. One woman, probably in her 50s, asks the question he knew was coming. "Do you ever regret it? Doing all this?" Marcus thinks about the question carefully. He thinks about the excess skin he'll need surgery to remove, the constant vigilance required to avoid falling back into old patterns, the relationships he's still rebuilding, the damage that can never be fully undone. "No," he says finally, "because the alternative was dying and I decided I'd rather live." Later, in the parking lot, Claire waits by the car. She's smiling, really smiling, not the tired, worried smile Marcus is used to seeing. "How'd it go?" she asks. "Good. Hard, but good." They drive in comfortable silence for a while. The mountains recede in the rearview mirror. The future stretches ahead. Uncertain, yes, but possible in a way it wasn't a year ago. "I'm proud of you," Claire says suddenly. "I know I don't say it enough, but I am. You did something I didn't think was possible." "I almost didn't," Marcus reminds her. "I almost quit a dozen times." "But you didn't. That's what matters." Marcus looks out the window at the world passing by. A world he's finally part of again. He thinks about Dr. Brennan's words. This journey isn't about being perfect. It's about getting back up one more time than you fall down. He fell. Multiple times. Spectacularly. But he got back up and he's still standing. "Hey, Claire," Marcus says as they merge onto the highway. "Yeah? Thank you. For not giving up on me, even when I gave up on myself." Claire reaches over and squeezes his hand. That's what family does. We don't give up, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. In 6 months from now, Marcus will weigh 290 pounds. He'll have hit Dr. Brennan's goal weight. He'll start dating someone he met at a support group, another surgery patient who understands the journey. He'll get a part-time job at a community center, helping other people struggling with obesity. But he'll also have bad days. Days where he eats too much. Days where the old thoughts creep back in. Days where he has to fight the urge to retreat back into food and isolation. The difference is, he'll keep fighting. 1 year ago, Marcus Hayes couldn't fit in a car seat. The trip to save his life became his breaking point. But breaking points, he's learned, can also be turning points. The man who climbed into that van believed he was beyond saving, believed he deserved to die alone in his bedroom, believed he was too much, too broken, too far gone. That man was wrong. The journey isn't over, it never really is. Recovery isn't a destination, it's a daily choice, a commitment to keep showing up, to keep trying, to keep believing that life, with all its difficulty and pain, is worth living. Marcus makes that choice today, And tomorrow he'll make it again. That's all any of us can do. One day, one choice, one step forward. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. The van door that wouldn't close a year ago opened onto a journey Marcus never imagined he'd survive. But he did survive. And now, finally, he's learning to live.